Today we're going to be looking at a supplement, Ashwagandha. We're going to be exploring the benefits, the drawbacks, and my personal experience. First we're going to look at the research behind it, and then we're going to look at my personal experience with regards to Ashwagandha. So one of the key benefits of Ashwagandha is its ability to help the body cope with stress and anxiety. There was a study published in the Journal of Clinical Psychiatry that found Ashwagandha could potentially help reduce and manage stress and anxiety. One of the other claims in regards to Ashwagandha is that it improves cognitive performance and attention span. So in a study published by the Journal of Dietary Supplements, Ashwagandha supplementation showed promising results in improving cognitive performance and attention, which suggests that it may have a positive impact on memory and focus. One of the other key claims is that Ashwagandha massively improves sleep quality. There was a study published in Curious, which found that Ashwagandha improved sleep parameters in individuals with insomnia. So if you struggle getting a good night's sleep, Ashwagandha may be worth considering, right? And last but not least, in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition, it was found that Ashwagandha enhanced muscle strength and recovery in resistance-trained individuals. And in terms of drawbacks, they say that it can cause gastrointestinal discomfort, drowsiness, and potentially allergic reactions. In addition, it can also interact weirdly with certain medications. So if you're on any medication, it's probably worth consulting your doctor first. The other thing worth mentioning is that Ashwagandha hasn't been researched that heavily, so there's not a lot of information in regards to its long-term side effects. So now I'm going to tell you about my experience with Ashwagandha. First off, you won't notice the benefits straight away. I didn't notice the benefits till about 5 days into taking it. That's because that's to build up in your system. So I was taking Ashwagandha for 4 months straight, 2 times a day, October to February. And yeah, within the first 5 days, I noticed when I was going to the gym, I could lift more weight, I could lift heavier, I could do more reps. When I left the gym, I didn't feel as achy. I did not suffer any injuries at all during that time period, and I usually injure myself at least once every 3 months. But the big thing was that I felt less muscle pain. I just felt like I could do more in the gym. In terms of the cognitive function aspect that it claims, that it increases mental performance and focus, I didn't feel any smarter during that period of time. I can also say I wasn't really pushing myself intellectually. I wasn't doing anything that was particularly intellectually stimulating. But in terms of focus, I can definitely say it didn't really increase my focus. Although I will say when I was in conversation with people, I felt more engaged. But that's probably down to the decreased anxiety, which we'll talk about in a minute. In terms of sleep, I haven't really had an issue with sleep in recent years. I've taught myself other ways of getting a good night's sleep. But I will say when I started taking Ashwagandha, not for the full 4 months, but for the first, I'd say 3 weeks, let's say the first month, I was having much more vivid dreams, and I could just remember the dreams a lot more. So if you want to experience more vivid dreams, it might be worth considering. This might have just been a coincidence, but I don't normally go a whole month with consistently vivid dreams. So something that I noticed during my time taking Ashwagandha, which was from October to February, is that I never got ill once. Now in that period of time, I would always get ill. It's just the nature of winter. You get a cold, you get something like that, and I didn't get anything this winter. That's the first time ever. And there is studies that suggest that Ashwagandha does increase your autoimmune response. Now for the big one, that I think probably the reason most people click on the video is that they probably want something to help fight anxiety. And I can definitely say in my experience that this worked. Again, it wasn't straight away. It was after about 5 days. I woke up one morning, and when I wake up, the first thing I do is think about everything I need to worry about for the day, see if I can solve it in my head in the shower or just as I'm getting up, which, sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. And instead of that sick, overwhelming feeling of anxiety that you get, I just felt calm, like I could deal with anything that came my way. Now that being said, this does create a major flaw, and it's the reason that I would not recommend taking Ashwagandha constantly. So over the years, I've taught myself how to deal with anxiety, just various coping methods. So when you take away anxiety completely, you sort of forget how to deal with it. So after 4 months of taking Ashwagandha, I then stopped, and my anxiety was a lot worse than it was beforehand because I'd forgotten all the coping methods with how to deal with it. Essentially, my view is that if you take something to suppress an emotion, it then makes you weaker and worse at dealing with that emotion. And so for that reason, I'd recommend If you're going to take ashwagandha, you take it maybe 1 month on, 1 month off, so you don't become dependent on it or you start developing a tolerance to it, because I did notice towards the end of my 4 months, I was starting to not notice the anti-anxiety effects as much. I would still say for the whole period of time that it was great for physical performance though. Overall, I would say ashwagandha is one of the better supplements I've taken. Like I say, I wouldn't recommend just taking it constantly your whole life, because if you do that, you'll develop a tolerance like you will with anything, and you also develop an intolerance to dealing with the emotions that you're suppressing with it. You know, anxiety does suck, but it's good to feel negative emotions sometimes, every now and then, so you know how to deal with it, or you can at least teach yourself to deal with it. But if you're going through a very anxious period, or maybe you know you've got a highly stressful month coming up, I would definitely recommend it. Don't use it as a lifelong crutch, because it won't work. Nothing will. Just a disclaimer, I'm not a medical professional. Everything I say at the beginning of this video is based on other people's research, and everything I say in the second half of the video is just my opinion based on my anecdotal evidence and my own personal experience. I personally would recommend ashwagandha if you're someone who experiences anxiety or wants to increase their performance at the gym. I can't speak to it helping with insomnia because I haven't had insomnia for about 10 years. And I cannot agree with the cognitive function increase. I didn't feel any smarter, but that's because I'm already a genius. We're going to talk about some more supplements in the future, I think. Make sure to hit subscribe if you want to see more. Hit the bell as well. Drop a comment, tell me what your experience with ashwagandha is if you've had one, and I will see you in the next video.